And of course, he notices that he has the websites under the wrong pictures. So I already have something to fix. But hey, everybody, it's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, computer design illiterate Zach Clayton. And I'm with my great friend, Stephanie Simoes, as we come to month May of our fundraising event. Stephanie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to raise money this month for these awesome organizations.
Yeah, and one of the things that we really need to mention, okay, and we need you guys to understand this fully. Just because we're bringing on 2 new missions doesn't mean that it stops for the Avery Center and for Project Die Hard. You can still choose to vote, choose to buy wines for them. They're in the system now, so anytime that you buy a wine, you can send money to the Avery Center and Project Die Hard. We just want you to know our job here is to introduce all these great programs that we come up with, we work with, and these are 2 of my favorite guys in the world. I'm so proud to be working with them, as I was thrilled to work with Brian and the Avery Center. It's just one of those special moments when I get to talk to these 2 guys. And these 2 guys have never met directly, and there's so much similarity in what they do, Stephanie. I mean, this is amazing. With the stories are different. I'll be honest with you. If you have Kleenex near you, this is one of the shows you might need it. But what they've done with what one of them has done with tragedy is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And he'll always be one of my idols because of what he's done. The other one, he and his family put together a program that supports so many. And we're also going to be we are also part of veteran community projects. So we're going to be supporting that. So Stephanie, I would like to introduce you as our great co-host to Mr. J.R. Smith of the Veterans Ranch and Mr. John Wayne Vogels from Martyred Angels Foundation.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm so excited to hear from you both today.
How y'all doing?
How you doing? Pleasure. Thank you.
I'll jump in and quickly introduce myself, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys. So my name is Stephanie Simoes. I am a cause entrepreneur with One Hope Wine. It is award-winning Napa Valley wine that gives back with each bottle. So what I do is I specialize in fundraising, gifting, private wine events, and wine delivery. And I'm just really excited to be here to hear from you both. Through this event, I am personally going to be donating $25 for every $50 we raise collectively for each cause as a group. So if you're watching this, please share it around and share these missions, these stories that we're about to hear. So JR, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'd love to hear more about the ranch.
Well, fantastic.
Before you start, JR, we just want to make mention that this is our Facebook group. So make sure that anybody and everybody out there joins our Facebook group. Make sure that you like and share this Facebook group with anyone. Stephanie, throughout the month, is going to be sharing recipes and pairings and wine news, and it's a fantastic thing that she does. And JR and John will also be sharing. They have the ability to share some stuff with you about their respected organization. So sorry about interrupting you, JR, but you know I can't shut up. So, but you're up, my friend.
We have the similar problem. I'm good at flapping my gums. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you again for having us on here and being a part of this today. The Veterans Ranch, we are actually corporately founded as PJJR Ranch Corp. It's mine and my wife's initials. You can go to guidestar.org and search that, and you'll be able to see all of our financials when we were founded in December of 2017, but we're known as the Veterans Ranch. What does the Veterans Ranch do? Simply, we work with veterans and their families through horses. If you've never heard the official term, it's known as equine therapy. We literally want to take these amazing Americans and start getting them and their whole family, because the family serves as well. It's just not necessarily in a uniform. It's a different brigade worrying about the ones that are wearing the uniform. We want them to start being able to lay down heavy coats of burden and walk off as new and improved versions of themselves. I had a veteran explain to me recently his definition of laying down heavy coats of burden. And he said simply, when the demons come, and inherently they will, it's how you process that information differently, not necessarily better or worse, but differently to deal with it better, not let it take you to the dark places it once took you, so you can reach back and help that next veteran in need, and so on down the line, and teach them how to do the same thing for their fellow battle buddies that are possibly transitioning out of the service today. We are three of us actually founded this. Myself, my wife, we're the proud patriots of the bunch, meaning we're the 99% that support y'all, the 1%ers that wore the uniform. My dad was in Vietnam in 1969 and 70 with the great United States Navy, joined with an amphibious assault group running Marines upriver. So he got to see the worst humanity had to offer at that time. And so when he came back home, we all know how our Vietnam veterans at the time got treated. It wasn't right. It's never been right, but people are trying to make up for it today. I literally was sitting around trying to figure out what to do, with veterans. We got sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeing government organizations not taking care of these great Americans the way they should be taken care of. The good Lord works in mysterious ways, and my dad always taught me to keep a legal pad by the bed in case you get an idea in the middle of the night. I've had a lot of legal pads that didn't really go anywhere, but this one has, and it has one word scribbled on it to this day, and it says ranch. Now, my wife and I of 22 years had no idea what that meant. We wanted a couple horses and our little slice of Americana, but the word ranch never came into play. One day we're going to Bass Pro Shops because I truly am that guy you can drop off at open and pick up at close. And we stopped at Chili's for lunch. And my wife knows when she starts seeing the smoke coming out of my ears when I get an idea. Long story short, about 20 Chili's napkins later, the idea for the Veterans Ranch was born. And December of 17, we were an official nonprofit. Now, what are we going to do when you get to the Veterans Ranch? First of all, we run this out of our house currently right now. What that means is we use other people's horses and facilities to do what we do with these veterans. So one thing that we need right now, as we say, is our own piece of dirt. We're corporately based in Lakeland, Florida, which is halfway between Disney and Tampa. We are also registered in Texas and soon to be my home state of Missouri. So the long-term goal is to have a veterans ranch in every state in the union. So when you come out, whether it's a trail ride, a weekend-long therapy session like we did back in January, where we took about 20 vets and some plus ones camping, fishing, and we did liberty training. Okay, if anybody out there watching this has seen the show Heartland, you might have an idea of what liberty training is. But we're going to start by putting a grooming brush in your hand after we introduce you to some horses. Because as a lot of people on this call already know, horses are prey animals. If they don't know you, they're inherently born not to trust you or anything for that matter. Because all they can do as a defense mechanism is bite you or kick you. If you've ever had that happen to you, you know that hurts like hell. But if you're out in the wild, that's not much of a defense mechanism if somebody's trying to hurt you. So you need to build a bond of trust with a horse that once built will last a lifetime. Horses are so loyal that they will literally run for you at top speed until their heart explodes like jelly. That's a loyalty a lot of veterans do not see when they leave the unit and hang up the uniform. People will let you down. Your job will let you down. Dog-eat-dog world for promotions with no real chain of command. So again, when we put this grooming brush in your hand, you're going to start working that rhythmic motion and grooming that horse. And what's happening at that point? You're learning about your horse, and your horse is learning about you. Horses are so intuitive, they can feel a gnat land on their back. So they know everything about you feet away. And no, Yellowstone did not come up with that first. That's been a known thing for a long time. People say, yeah, I saw that on Yellowstone. No, that's not where we got it from. So you're going to build that bond of trust. You're not just always throwing a saddle on and say, giddy up, go sick 'em. You're going to learn how to connect with that horse, how to work with that horse. Liberty training, there's no halters, there's no lead ropes. It's you, a round pen, a horse, and probably a training flag at best. And you're going to learn how to end up walking shoulder to shoulder with that horse around the arena. And when we did this back in January, some amazing things happened. We had 2 vets break down and absolutely lose it. And what happened is we got them back to the center of the arena. And before you know it, the horse comes up and puts its nose right here in the middle of their chest. And what ended up happening is it wasn't that thing, but it was that event that got these folks, these great Americans, as we call them, to start melting off those heavy coats of burden they were hanging on to. And they were in tears. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm 6'4" and 260, but I'm a giant teddy bear. When that happens, I tell you what, it gets you right here. If you ain't got the lump in your throat and a little allergy in your eye, when you see that kind of thing happen, you may just need to check your heartbeat. So, long term, we need to be doing more and more on a daily basis, but the mission's too important to not do what we're doing right now to move forward with this. We're looking at about a 20 horse type property where we can have 15 to 20 horses. We're actually showing veterans right now how to save money on essential services they pay for every day, how to get better supplementation in their diet. And we're also going to be working with a great friend of ours out of Frisco, Texas, called Veteran Produce. It's a retired chief petty officer that shows veterans how to grow your own food through hydroponics and aquaponics. So we can teach them how to start their own business, get homeless veterans off the street, which is extremely important. You'll see a stat that says about 37,000 veterans are homeless. Those are the ones they can track. The real number are in the hundreds of thousands of homeless veterans. And if we can start getting them off the street, get them reacclimated to society and start their own business, it's just all the better. So I appreciate the time here today. If anybody has any questions, be more than happy to answer them. And you can always find us at theveteransranch.org. Right now, we're looking for 22,000 people to either make a one-time or, if you can afford it, a monthly donation of $22. So $22 a month or a one-time of $22. Because, folks, veteran suicide is on the rise. We've heard the number 22. We've done push-up challenges. We've bought bracelets, finger rings, all kinds of things. But unfortunately, the number is now an average of 35 veterans a day committing suicide. It shouldn't be 1. So if we can get these great Americans to the Veterans Ranch and get them to start laying down those heavy coats of burden, we're going to do our part to get that number down to 0. So go to theveteransranch.org, click that donate button. $22 once. It's one less fast food visit, one less trip to the coffee shop. And if you can afford it, $22 a month. And we'll send you, if you do the monthly donation, we'll send you a pint glass for your favorite beverage, maybe a glass of wine, and we'll send you a ranch t-shirt. So again, thank you all from the Veterans Ranch. We say, we love you all. Take care. Giddy up.
JR, you and I have worked together now for, better part of half a year. We really worked towards February 22nd, where we did some, you were with me the entire 22 hours of my 22-hour podcast, which was amazing. And you and I also are co-founders of a program called Veterans Community Project. Can you go on ahead and explain to people exactly what we are doing with Veterans Community Project?
Absolutely. Veterans Community Projects is exactly what it sounds. It's plural. Okay, so it's myself, it's Brian Gibson, who y'all have had a chance to meet here numerous times with Project Die Hard and with Zach with Community Pay It Forward. Our mission is to get veterans from, we're going to grow this to get them from, if they have addictions and they need help there kicking the addictions, all the way through long-term housing, if that's what they need. And not just, hey, here's a phone number and an email, go ahead and reach out to somebody. Real warm handoffs, real connections, and staying with those veterans even after they're out of our projects that we have going on together. This is a nationwide organization. We are looking to fill some slots. It is a very selective process. Not just everybody can join because you have a nonprofit. You have to fill a slot we're looking for. So you can reach out to myself, Zach, or Brian individually with your organization, and we can set up some private Zoom calls and talk with you about your organization and see if you'd be a good fit.
You know, and we do that really quite honestly because we've worked with some people who just don't you know, let's be honest. We're really dedicated at doing this. I mean, this is what we want to do. We are dedicated. You and I are both patriots. We are not veterans, but you and I are both dedicated, and we've dedicated a good majority of our life supporting our veterans, the ones who have went out and raised their right hand. As you mentioned, it's under 5% of the people who go out there and commit to our country. Yet we're losing 35 a day, you know, and that to me is insane because those numbers are over 15,000 a year. And that's just, it's a scary, scary fact. So we want to make sure that with the Veterans Community Project, our main mission is our veterans. That's it. It's our veterans. We don't, you know, look, God love whatever you do. Okay. But our thing is that we're not there to put money in a foundation's pocket for the foundation or for the CEO. We're there to put it in the pockets of the foundation to expand and grow and give, you know. So it's a very selective thing. We've worked on it quite hard, and we're going to keep going because that's what we want to do. You guys did hear from Brian Gibson last month. He was one of our benefactors last month. And again, please remember, just because Brian's not on this telecast this month does not mean you can stop, you know, forget about him. Please make sure that you care about everybody that we bring on this show. JR, one of the things that you did, you mentioned the veterans that broke down during your ride. And I know that was something that touched you considerably because it was one of those things that, you know, they're told that they're unstoppable. They're told that they're unflappable. They're told all these things. And when they get out, they don't get told how to go back to living a life. They're told, here's your paycheck. God bless you. Have fun. And that's it. They're left out there on their own.
Yeah, the transition process, they're trying to make it better, but let's face it, the military's not there to teach you how to be your financial counselor. They're not there to teach you how to transition out, how to not, you know, marry the first wrong girl or guy you shouldn't do. They're there to teach you how to go kill the bad guy. Yeah. And, you know, let's face it, I talked to the guy that owns Veteran Produce. He said it best. He's a retired chief petty officer. He said it's indoctrination. You're taking skulls full of mush at 17, 18 years old, and you're teaching them how to go kill. I don't care if you're a paper pusher for 30 years and name the branch, you're always a rifleman. You know, that's what they say in the Marine Corps. You may have to grab your rifle and potentially give your last full measure of devotion for your country. We don't talk that way anymore, but we still should. And, you know, it is an amazing thing to see, you know, because we tell people when you're working with horses, and again, people that know, you have to relax. You have to shut down. You have to not even think about thinking. And when you tell them you got to relax, what happens if somebody tells you you got to relax about 6 times? Your jaw gets a little tighter every time and you go, I am trying to relax. Well, that horse feels everything that you just projected right there. And so when those people finally just shut down, realized they had to relax, and that horse came up and had enough trust from across the arena, by the way. Okay, it wasn't like the horse was 2 feet away. Horse was like 20 feet away, walked over and put its nose right here. That's a connection that most people will never feel. I don't care if you're even in the service or not. Most people will never feel that kind of connection that God's majestic animal can give you.
That's so very true. Do you have anything to ask, Stephanie?
I was just going to say that I love everything about everything that you do, and I'll quickly, because I don't want to change the topic at all, but I've had a personal experience with horses. My kids have a rarely diagnosed medical condition, and the best thing my husband ever did for me was get me a rescue horse, because I'm not sure who saved who, but it's truly an incredible experience. And the fact that you're bringing that to our veterans, amazing. That's all I have to say about that. It's incredible what you guys are doing.
Well, you understand that, and it's a very valid point of who rescued who, right? When we did our event back in January, I got to work with a rescued Mustang. It was on its third rescue, and it was in its forever home now. But this horse had been boarded up out in a pasture and only been able to be fed and watered, and because they didn't have the patience. One of my favorite horse trainers says we need to put more horse in the man, not more man in the horse. And so when you're working with a wild Mustang, that's even more challenging because it's a wild horse. It hasn't been tamed or broken. And so this horse was 15 hands. Everybody that's horse people knows how to measure that. And about 1,200 pounds, and I'm 6'4" and 260. So everybody was laughing, going, okay, which alpha male is going to give up first? And I'm working with this horse, and I went to turn and go around the other way in the arena to see if he'd follow me. And you always want to keep the horse out on the outside of the rail and you in the middle. And he snuck behind me to where all of a sudden he's in the middle and I'm on the outside of the rail. And they're like, oh, look, the horse is leading JR around so nice. It's amazing. You think, okay, it's just this dumb horse. Oh, no. And, but by the end, that horse was doing the same thing with me. He came up and you want to pet him. You just want to make him like your favorite house dog, but you can't. You got to let horses learn in the release. They don't learn when you're trying to teach them. They learn when you stop and they go, ooh, I did something. Was it good? Was it bad? Right. And so he comes up and he's sniffing me and he put his head over my shoulder. Again, just the most, I had it's the good Lord and the horse. Let's just call it what it is. Had the owner of that horse in tears, and they let me halter the horse and everything else because of the connection I made with him. And it was such a blessing because I said, of course it choked me up because she's choked up. And I said, what? She said, you have no idea what you did for that horse today. I said, I could tell you everything it did for me, but what do you mean? She said, that horse hates men, especially men in cowboy hats, because they're the ones that imprisoned him for 4 years. He was boarded up in that stall for 4 years. And so he said, the connection you made with him today immensely is moving him along in his transition to become a rideable horse. You couldn't even saddle him yet. So it's just, again, it does as much for us as it does the people we're serving.
Well, JR, all I know is that you do some fantastic work. John, I see you down there nodding, and you're very, very familiar with this. You also, your program, you guys have, you're working into the horse rescue, the horse therapy, yes?
We do horse therapy, and JR, spot on. What a great presentation. Love the organization, by the way. And when he brought up the fact about a horse that hates men, that was our most recent horse that we purchased a couple years ago, Zodiac, that you'll see on our website and on our social media platform as well, of course. He's the Leopard Appaloosa. When we got him, he too did not like me at all or any other men. And it has to do because of how he was treated prior to us getting him. He was very emaciated, or I guess the easiest way to state that is that he was starved prior to us getting him. And then the person that we had purchased him from had spent a couple months bulking him up. So in a 2-month period of time, she'd put 200 pounds on him.
Wow.
But with that being said, she brought him up to really nice shape, but he didn't have any muscle tone. but what we had eventually had discovered was there was a particular time where he had tried to get out of the pasture and had gotten his both back legs and hooves caught up in the wire, but there was no treatment given to him. So he had had some massive hip injuries. Anyways, we can go on and on about this, but so when we had gotten him, we started working on his muscle tone. And in the process of doing that, he has now accepted me as not being such a bad guy after all. And he's an amazing, amazing horse. So, and as JR also stated with the height, he's currently 15.1, and I think he's still going to grow a little bit more. But he's pretty much at his top because he is 6 years old. So, but we also do we do horse therapy. You're absolutely correct. Ours is different in a different way to the fact that it provides therapy, but provides therapy in a particular way. It provides therapy for parents that have lost a child, which we unfortunately found out is a limited to zero resource, which is I couldn't believe it when I discovered this after my wife and I lost our 3-year-old son Bladen in a drowning accident in 2011. He was a month and a half away from being 4. There was a program set up here at Boulder County. It was at the hospice department, but it was for this loss. My wife and I had attended 2 and no more than 3 sessions. And then we went back to have another one. We had learned that the department was closed, the building was locked up, all the furniture was gone. And apparently Boulder County had decided that the funding for this department was not necessary. So they reallocated all the funds into a different department. So we started researching other areas, and there are a couple other organizations out there, don't get me wrong, and for this purpose. However, what we also learned that they only meet like twice a month for about an hour. And then there's certain criteria coming on in order to be a part of them. And I thought there has to be something more that we could do because when it comes to loss, and of course, JR hit it right on the head. When it comes to any kind of a grief or any kind of a loss or any sort of PTSD related issues, this isn't something that you can nail down maybe once or twice a month to have a session to treat this. This is something that's ongoing. This is 24/7. This is also a very huge contributor when it comes to suicides and other major health medical issues. If it isn't something that's available 24/7, then it really isn't serving its purpose. So we developed this horse therapy program along with a spirit horse that you'll also see on all of our social media, which is an absolute fantastic organization. And when Kaya, the instructor, and I had first spoken about this, we sat down and we thought, what would be the appropriate time frame that we would think it would take before we would yield any sort of results? And her and I both determined that it'd probably be 4 to 5 months. However, the first family to come on to this program, the very first day, the mom is calling me up and she is literally in tears, expressing to me that her oldest son had never spoken about the loss of his younger brother some years ago in a trailer fire, and would not mention his name, would not have his name mentioned, and it was just kept to yourself. However, after this very first session, he started opening up and she could not believe it. Kai and I could not believe it either. I mean, we never thought the first visit, you're out of your mind, but it was absolutely that effective that soon. So that's reaching out. It's very essential to have your own piece of property. in order to establish this sort of program to make it effective. And that's what we're currently doing as well.
Yep.
We have a few properties that we're looking at, a few properties that we're working with. We're doing a fundraiser. We have one coming up June 18th at the Boulder Elks Lodge, number 566 in Boulder. I'll have that information out as soon as possible as well to get it promoted. But that's what these fundraisers are for, that we're doing, is to continuously raise enough funds to acquire these properties. As everybody knows, expressing an interest in having property is one thing. However, being able to acquire them is another. So what we're trying to do is not only raise the earnest money that we would need to purchase them, but also raise the down payment that we would need prior to either taking out a loan or doing more campaign and fundraisers to pay the property off itself. So there's so many different levels involved, but we not only just do horse therapy, we also provide financial support, temporary financial support. We're also working on raising enough funds to start purchasing cemetery plots next to the child, or in some really unfortunate circumstances, children. And with that, of course, brings on the other reason why. When Bladen passed away, the cemetery that he's at, and I know this sounds a little strange, but the cemetery that he's at mentioned to us that all of the plots around him were for sale. And we never thought about this. This didn't even exist in our mind. But they were so unbelievably grateful and just so respectful to us in Bladen. They reserved all of the plots next to him, above him, and below him. And they gave us a few months to decide which ones that we would pick to be next to him, and then opened up the rest. But then we had to purchase those, and those are not cheap. We spent for the 4 extra plots. It took us 7 years to pay it off. It came to a little over $40,000. So, with this being said, what we would like to do is at least get to the point where we can purchase the plots, to have those available and reserved for the family members to be next to their child or children. In which we also found that in many cases, this doesn't happen. The children are buried by themselves, and then later on, the family, it dawns on them that this took place, and now these other plots are taken next to their child, and the child's going to be by themselves in the end. So that's what we're also trying to do, as well as group camps that we have established. Obviously, those have been kind of not existent for the past couple of years, but we do have some property up on top of Lee Hill that we have access to run these camps. But then again, if we're able to acquire our own property, we would be able to do that by ourselves. And as JR also knows, the essential crucialness of having your own piece of property makes it not only easier to run the programs, but easier to maintain and keep people energized and interested in continuously coming back to your program. So that's what we're also trying to provide for these families that have lost a child, and also children that have lost their parent. So we bring in civilians and military, Gold Star families. We bring everybody in, and the idea that we have is that, as you know, that we've been working on for quite some time, is the equestrian capable lodge, resort, campground. And this stems back to, I guess that kind of merged the two together during my time as a park ranger up at Rocky Mountain National Park. Working a lot of the campgrounds, it is one of the most therapeutic things that you can have. People come to relax and to kind of relieve themselves of stress. Now you throw in horses, and once again, JR, I'm totally on board with understanding having an ornery green horse and yeah, getting kicked and bitten. It is not, it is that isn't therapeutic, but it is an eye opener, right?
Oh yeah.
So and it's a better understanding of horses and how they do react to you. And you're absolutely correct. Horses are so devoted and honorable. What an unbelievable animal. Um, but it's also connecting with them, as you also stated, is just as important. So having a gentle hand approach to it versus a heavy hand approach yields a far better outcome. So bonding, and this is what we do with the program. We allow it up to the families that are coming in, the individuals that come into the program. We allow them to determine at what level they want to be at. So they can come in, and of course, at first, you have to get to know the animal. And then you start connecting with them, but grooming, picking hooves, going out for walks. Then you start bonding that way. And if they want to continue more and go into a riding program, that's available to them, but it's completely up to them at to what level they want to be at. Now, I grew up Western. I grew up, it was just workhorse, man. So there was a, I usually tell people there's nothing pleasurable about it, but I was so young, I used to call it bridled and unbridled aimless meandering, you know? So the older boys did cutters but anyways, that's what I grew up with. And then after meeting my wife, um, and knowing that her background was of the English background, uh, she was the state hunter jumper champion here years ago, and this is what our daughter had picked up on, is the English discipline. However, she's getting some interest into the Western discipline, into some more of like the dressage, but it's so therapeutic. These animals are so amazing, and they let you know, though, what your emotions are. And as JR pointed out, they can sense how you're feeling from a distance, and they'll let you know that. So it is extremely incredible how these animals work, and what they have to offer and what you have to offer them. So they both work in conjunction with each other. You just have to allow it to happen. So
John,
and we provide that service.
John, um, you also have a wonderful motorcycle program along
I
with
do.
this. So it's a different kind of pony. This one's just made out of steel. But the reason I'm
That's
mentioning this is that everybody has got to hear the Bladen starting the bike story.
yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? That's why I usually use I'm so freaking old. I use I always say pound sign. Of course, I get corrected by my daughter. That's a hashtag, Dad. But I use like pound sign horses, pound sign horse therapy, pound sign horsepower. That's what that refers to. So the motorcycle story is when both of my kids turned one, I would put them on the front seat of the bike with me, and I have a '98 Road King, carbureted, and you'll understand how important this is. And I have 18-inch ape hangers on it. So at the time, I was working for the state, and I was on call one time and just working a lot of hours. And both the kids would get excited for this bike. Now, like I said before, now you have to remember that they both started riding at 1 years old. So when they both turned one, I'd put them on the front seat, and we would do circles in the cul-de-sac and up and down the road. And they just loved this bike. So when I would come home from work, they would have their faces either pressed up against the glass door, waiting to go out for the ride, or they would already be waiting out at the mailbox. And then whoever was last the last time would be first this time. So they did that order. However, I came home this time and I had worked a long shift. I was on a call and then came home and then had to go back to work immediately right away. And it took me an hour to go back and forth. So I was just tired. So I get home and both the kids are out the mailbox, and I'm like, Dad's too tired, man. I can't give you a ride today. So I pull the bike up into the garage, and I never had a reason to lock it up in my own garage. It was so secure. So I pull up in the garage and I park it, and I go in the house and I make something to eat, and that took a little bit of time. And then I make something to drink, and I go downstairs to sit and just relax and watch TV for a minute. And before my butt can hit the chair, I hear the starter engaging. Now you have to remember my son is 2 at this time, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So I run upstairs quick and open the garage door, and there's Bladen. He had climbed up the side of the bike, was standing on the tanks. He had his one hand on the handlebar, and he's hitting the start button. And I'm like, oh my God, Bladen, no. And I run out there to grab him, and now he's nailing it, man. So, you hear it starting and grinding, engaging and grinding. And I'm like, oh my God. So I run there and I grab him quick, and I take him off the bike. And ever since then, if I'm a foot away from that motorcycle, I have it locked. The handlebars and the ignition is locked. But I never paid attention to him noticing how I was starting that motorcycle. And he wanted to go for a ride so bad that he climbed up the side and he turned the ignition on. And once again, thank God for carburation. he couldn't get it started, but man, it wasn't for lack of effort. I can guarantee you that. But I couldn't think of a better tribute than to include that also into the organization. So it is a fully patched membership, but with it comes a lot of benefits to being involved with that as well. There's just so many different variables to this organization. Uh, it just provides so much support and assistance uh, for others in so many different ways. And we're totally on board um, with partnering and getting involved with other organizations with similarities that we have, in hopes that we can just come together and benefit everyone, which is the purpose of the Equestrian Capable Campground Lodge Resort. Um, what that does is it will be able to provide public and registrants an opportunity to have not only a nice, comfortable place to stay, but also have the opportunity to go out and spend time with these horses and get a better understanding of how it is possible that these animals can be as therapeutic and beneficial as they are, and learn how not to just understand um, what you're going through and where your mindset is at, and the grief that you're having and the struggles that you're having, but also understand how the reaction is because of that. And these horses are so in tune with this. They provide such a immense amount of therapy and understanding that I don't think very many other animals are able to do. So that's the reason why we also chose that particular animal. Plus, we just love them. I mean, they're such an amazing animal that you get around them. Some people freak out a little bit because some couple of the horses that we have, they're pretty big. They're like draft cross, but I guarantee you, at the current time, we don't have anything over 18 hands, so they're not that big of a giant. but um, but they're just wonderful. They're just absolutely wonderful, and we're hoping to get more people um, involved in supporting and donating to our organization, whether it be through One Hope Wine with purchasing a bottle of wine in support of the organization, whether it's through Zach and Community Pay It Forward, or whether it's through going to our website at martyredangelsfoundation.org. And what I normally do is I tell people, please go to the reason page.
Yes.
And read the story behind what happened. It's difficult for me. It's difficult for me to say this at any point in time. It took me a while to write it, actually, for the website. So with that being said, it's hard for me to tell the story. It's easier for me to just ask people to go to the reason page and get a better understanding as to what happened and as to why this organization was founded and who it supports and represents. Then after that, just cruise the website. You can go to our donate button and donate. We're also involved with Colorado Gives. Let me see, Fun Care. God, there's so many of them. I just can't even remember all of them. But
yeah, you've just got them all listed on your website, though, right?
We have them listed on a couple of them are listed on the website. The other ones are listed on our social media, and we can be found on a bunch of them. We can be found on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Getter. I know there's a few more. I just can't think of them right now, but
yeah.
But we should have them listed too. And once again, I'm not the tech guy, man. I worked with my hands and my back my whole life. So I'll let some other individuals take care of the tech part of it. And as we all know, at the beginning of this, when before we started recording this, I expressed how exactly in tune I am with my phone, even. And once again, if you look over my shoulder, you can see right next to the plaque, you see a rotary phone. That's my tech status. All right, that's my level of technology. So
that's still just great.
So. but it's a grief, and it's child loss is one of the most horrible things I've ever experienced in my life. I don't wish it on anybody.
No.
But it happens, and unfortunately, there is little to no resource available. Why, I have no idea. I mean, this has been happening since the beginning of time. But we're hoping to change that through our loss and what we've experienced with our loss, and the struggles and the different stages and different procedures, I guess, that we've attempted to use to help through this sort of grief. And regardless of what anybody may say at any level, pharmaceuticals can do so much, but then again, pharmaceuticals can do so much.
Yeah.
So these horses and this other method of understanding and getting results, in just my opinion and my experience, is far greater than what a pharmaceutical company has to offer.
Wow.
So
I greatly appreciate both of you gentlemen joining me, and I invite you to go on ahead and stick around for a couple minutes. We are also substituting this show tonight with our pACT podcast. As most of you guys know, at this time, we usually have the pACT podcast. Well, due to certification for this fun fostering event that we've got going through, we are combining our wine introduction, our May wine introduction, bringing you these wonderful stories. I mean, these stories are so inspirational, and there's so much hope behind them. And you can help us keep these stories going, keep these stories growing, and building towards something wonderful. All you have to do is make a purchase. And of course, there goes my phone, because, it has to be involved with something. So, but we're going to try to play.
Is that a circus theme too, Zach? It sounds like
it is. It's kind of, you know what, John? I just think it's a little bit like my life. It's just like a circus. But Stephanie, can you please?
The next time I'll make sure that I have a little pedal car and a midget on my shoulder or something,
That would be great. So, Stephanie, can you please explain what we're looking at here?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you could zoom in a little bit at all, but the top QR code there is a link Oh, perfect. No, that's good. And if you have a cell phone handy, you can literally open up your camera and place it over any of those QR codes, and it will take you directly to these links. So the first one is for our virtual online event for May. There you will find the fundraising links for both of these organizations, as well as daily updates, shares on different wines, seasonal recipes, maybe some cocktail recipes too that are seasonal, some food and wine pairings. So lots of fun stuff going to be dropped on that virtual event page throughout the month. So you could join us there. The second QR code is for the Veterans Ranch. That is directly to the fundraising link through One Hope Wine. It's also typed there in text underneath, just in case you would rather type it into your browser. And for Martyred Angels at the bottom, same thing. Open up that camera, scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to the fundraising link for these organizations. So definitely jump on the virtual event, though. There'll be a lot of fun updates there. And, of course, access to the fundraisers there as well.
So this is just month 2 of what we're going to continue to do. We're going to be spotlighting a lot of these great organizations. Every single one of them is got a story like you've heard today. Everyone is different, but everyone's the same because everyone's here to try to help. So please make sure that you stick with us. Going ahead.
I felt those stories so much today, you guys. I'm so happy to be here and to have heard more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And is this the first podcast of its kind that we're doing right now?
Actually, John, this is the second month we've done this one.
It is the second. Okay. Well, I just wanted to point something out that I don't know. I'm curious to see how many people are going to hit on this, but both JR and I are speaking of horse therapy and having horses in our programs. But at the same time, you have on this podcast 2 individuals by the name of JR and John Wayne. So I'm kind of curious. I'm curious how many people are gonna pick up on this. You know, I'm sure it's gonna be. Hopefully, it's gonna be some sort of a hit just with the names, right?
Love it.
That's a good point. So now we're going to come to the point of the show where we get to be entertained and learn about a little bit of wine. Once again, gentlemen, thank you guys so very much for joining us. And I please implore you to stick around because Stephanie is a wealth of knowledge. And then we're going to be joined here in a little bit by a great partner of mine named Jay Lieber, who runs TotalSpeed.co. Total Speed Co. is all you need to know. He's also in Boulder, John. So he's another one of our partners who, when you shop with him, as you're shopping with these wonderful wines today, when you shop with them, they will donate to a mission, whether it's John, whether it's JR, one of our other great missions. So, but Stephanie, why don't you take it away for us, please?
Can I just for a second? I'm so sorry. I might have to cut out. Yeah, as you know, we have that event coming up June 18th.
Yeah.
So I have.
See, my apologies, but meeting after meeting after meeting. So I definitely want to learn more from Stephanie because me and wine get along really well in this house. So, so yeah, definitely always wanting to learn more. Stephanie, thank you so much for what you're doing. Zach, as always, brother.
Absolutely.
You know, the honor of being able to work with you. John, look forward to connecting so much. My God, we're amening to each other's choir so much. It's amazing, you know, with what we do. And God bless you for what you're doing, man. And you're right. I mean, you know, I've heard people say that, you know, I know how you feel. You never know how that person feels when they lose a child. You can have the empathy, but there's no way you can have the sympathy. So God bless you, man. I just, wow, that touched my heart today. But again, I do have to duck to another meeting. So God bless everyone. Take care. Giddy up as always. And we'll see you down the road.
Keep doing the good work, both of you gentlemen. So thank you guys very much. And please share this with everybody. Let's get this going.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. Let's kick ass for both of you guys. I love both of you with all my heart. And we'll talk
Thank
to you
you.
soon.
No,
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
God bless all of you, man. And JR, I look forward to it. Definitely let's hook up whenever we can find a spot where,
Yes,
coffee's
sir.
good at 8 at night,
John Wayne and JR are getting to do good
John
things.
Wayne and JR, that's right. That's right. We got Dallas and Chisholm.
That's it. That's it. All right.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that, Stephanie. I didn't mean to take you off, but
No,
there we
that's
go.
okay. Here we
That
go.
was-
All right. So for those of you watching who may not be familiar with One Hope, I'm happy to share a little bit about it. And then I'm going to share some picks that I have, for the month of May and, highlight a few things. We have Mother's Day coming up and, spring weather. I know across the country, the weather's starting to get a little bit nicer. So I think we're going to be seeing more gatherings and stuff. So I want to highlight some of those things. Yes. Again, there are the QR codes to join our virtual event for the month. And then for both organizations, the QR codes directly to their fundraisers. So One Hope Wine, we are a cause-centered winery out of Napa Valley. I don't know if you've ever been to Napa. We're right in the heart of Rutherford. And what do I mean by cause-centered? Every single bottle of wine that we sell gives back to make an impact. We have donated over $8 million to date, locally and globally. I love that we have this incredible platform, Zach, to be able to choose these causes every single month and be able to get their message out to support them. And this is what I love about One Hope is not only is it funding our One Hope Foundation, where we have 4 main pillars of giving for clean water, ending hunger, health, and education initiatives. But in addition, we're able to select our favorite charities of choice to highlight. So essentially, through these events, every single bottle is going to give back twice. We have some of the most incredible winemakers in the industry. Robert Mondavi Jr. may sound familiar to some of you. If you are a wine lover, you may be familiar with the Mondavi name. Our winery actually sits right next door to the Mondavi Vineyard, for those who are familiar with the area. We also have Tony Coltrane, who came over from Opus One, and our head winemaker, Mari Wells Coyle, one of the few female winemakers rocking the industry. She's just absolutely incredible. She came over from Sterling Vineyards because she really believed in the mission with One Hope. So we are a private wine label. Our winemakers do make our wine. I'd like to say we, from the grape to your glass, right? And we are actually very close to our organic certification. We've had organic practices all along, but just like everything else, the paperwork and the system takes a little bit of time, but we are getting really close to that as well. So our wine is award-winning. We are the only Napa Valley winery with more than 5 90+ point rated wines for under $25 because we do have discounts with our half and full cases. So if you know wine at all, you know that these are excellent wine ratings and delivered to your door in 3 to 5 business days. So wherever you are across the country, we deliver to 46 states across the US. So you can certainly jump in, share this event, and anyone really across the country can also support.
And they are beautifully and securely packaged. Like I said, when the wines arrived at my door, I was afraid to open them. It was kind of like Christmas, where the box was so nice you wanted to reuse it. I mean, it truly is. It was amazing. They
are beautifully packaged, and it's really quick too. The FedEx guy for me is like, the adult ice cream truck.
Yep. There you go. That is a great way to put it. Yep. So
let's sip and make a big impact for these 2 incredible causes. Man, I mean, their stories touched me today. Truly, if you're watching this, it doesn't cost a thing to just share this event around. So share it around social media. All right, so I'm going to jump in and highlight 3 different wines. I picked first our Pinot Grigio. I find that our Pinot Grigio this time of year, it is our driest white, but it's crisp, it's light, it's refreshing. If you like a dry white wine, this is it. Some other wines that are comparable to this, I'm going to talk about the rosé in a second, but you may also really enjoy our Vintner Collection Sauvignon Blanc. So I'm going to read right off the bottle for you guys.
Stephanie, can I ask you a real quick question? Define
Sure.
dry wine for some of us non-connoisseurs.
Okay, so you're not going to find that this one's super sweet.
Okay.
So in your case, with you really enjoying the Moscatos, this is going to be the complete opposite of that. So you're not going to find really strong fruit forward flavors. It's going to be a drier finish in your mouth than and this is also a lower sugar content too, which I'm happy to talk about. This has actually been a big topic lately. Sugar in wine. There are no additives in wine. It's actually not legal for wineries to put any kind of sugar or additives into the wine. What you find in these bottles is grapes. It's just different grape varietals. And, with a Moscato, right? A little bit more, it's a sweeter wine, a little bit more sugar content, but still not a lot in comparison to foods and drinks that we consume on a regular basis. But with the drier wines, there is less sugar content too. And you can actually shop the website Buy Dry Wines to see which ones kind of fall into that category, both red and white.
Well, I'm sorry to steal your thunder there, but thank you very much. I've always wondered that. You mentioned dry wines, and I sit here and I shake my head like I know what the hell I'm talking about, but I didn't until now. So thank you for helping me.
I mean, that wasn't like a really sophisticated explanation, but that's like my interpretation of it. And I am by no means a sommelier.
Sweetie, let's be honest here. I'm Zach. Okay, you just go, Zach. And I'm going to agree with, I know exactly what you're saying. It's not sweet. You're not going to,
Not sweet. This one is the driest white we have. So if you enjoy a dry wine, the Pinot Grigio is great. It's great, super cold on a warm day, and it's really light and refreshing. And the tasting profile on this is ripe stone fruit with notes of light floral and citrus zest. You'll find that our Sauvignon Blanc has a little bit more of a sweetness to it. Little bit, hint. I'll call it a hint of sweetness. Not sweet, but a hint above this one. But really fun. You can make a great white sangria also out of this Pinot Grigio. It's a great wine for that also this time of year. So I wanted to highlight that. We have a new release, and I wanted to show off this bottle, especially with Mother's Day coming. This is our sparkling rosé. It's our pink shimmer bottle sparkling rosé. Absolutely delicious, great for a gift. And not sure if you guys saw, but we can customize gifts on our website too. So you can select any wines that, mom might like for Mother's Day, build a box, and there are gift add-ons that you can also add. There's a celebration gift set. There are ones with cookies and sweet treats, artisan with some cheeses and things. So there are different options there if you want to build a gift. But the tasting profile on this sparkling rosé is notes of pomegranate, pink lady apple, and floral. So it's as simple as that, but it's a beautiful bottle, beautiful gift. Just a sneak peek, there's going to be some etched bottles in this pink coming too, which is going to be really fun. And lastly, well, you know what? Back to the rosé for just 1 second. We do have a Vintner Collection rosé that is a still. So if you're not a fan of bubbly, because that is a sparkling wine, our Vintner Collection rosé is delicious. And we also have a reserve El Dorado rosé on the website. Rosé is really fun this time of year as the weather starts to get warm. And I think, gatherings, poolside, barbecues, things like that really make me think rosé. All right, last one. Our Vintner Collection Cabernet, one of my personal favorites. Our Vintner Collection Red Blend got me into red wines. I did not drink red before One Hope, but this one makes me think barbecue all the way, Zach. Cheeseburgers, all the things, sausage, hot dogs, everything on the grill, bacon burgers, bacon, everything with this Cabernet. Yum. This one has notes of dark berries, toffee, and hints of vanilla. If you like a good cab, Start with this one. It's absolutely delicious. We also have a reserve option. Our Paso Robles is also a really big seller. That one's also great. But I wanted to highlight a red because I feel like this is like your barbecue buddy this time of year for all like the grilled meats.
I think I know which one I'm going to have to order for the 19th. I think I'm gonna have
Oh
to give
boy!
that a try. Just because now I want hot dog, sausage, burgers, bacon burgers, and all that other stuff because, you know, well, hey, fat guy curse, let's be honest here. So
I mean, I love all the food things. You can talk to me about food all day, but I know you love sweet. And we did have a new launch that just came out a couple of days ago. Our sparkling red frizzante, which is a red sweet wine, brand new to the website. We've never had it before, and it's actually been in the works and being talked about for almost 5 years. And now we finally have it. So
right
if you want to check that out too, if you're more of a sweet lover, but you want to try a red, there is that one that you can check out as well.
that sounds great. And once again, do us a huge favor and just one more time, if you would, explain our links here.
Yeah, I will definitely explain the links, and then I'll explain to everybody how they can save and give back even more to these organizations. So that first QR code on the top is the link to our virtual event that we are doing on Facebook. There you can jump on. You will see the fundraising links for these two organizations there. You're also going to get some different updates, different highlights on wines, recipes, different pairings. It's just a fun way for us to connect and kind of figure out what's great for the season. You know, maybe you have a barbecue coming up and you need some inspiration. There'll be some recipes there that you can check out. Like I said, every single purchase gives back. 2 donations built into every single bottle of wine, but you can make the biggest impact and save by building a half or a full case. And there's actually a site-wide sale going on, which is huge. So I wanted to mention this. Normally our 6-packs, which are our half cases, are 10% off. Everything's bumped up. So half cases, 6-packs. You can mix and match your box any way you'd like. If you like red, white, sparkling, rosé, whatever your favorites are, you can build a 6-pack, get 15% off. A full case of wine is 25% off right now. That's a 12-pack of wine. Of course, again, you can customize that. So I always like to mention Wine Club because the best perks come right alongside with Wine Club, and you don't have to pay shipping when you join the Wine Club. In my opinion, it is the second best thing that we have to offer on the website. The first, of course, being the business opportunity, because I love that we can give back all year round on this side. But with Wine Club, the biggest question I get is, well, what does it cost to join your wine club? Because many a times in Napa, there is a fee to even enroll in a wine club. It's free. There is no cost to join the wine club, just perks. So you get automatic discounts on all of your wine purchases, free shipping for the life of your wine club. You're going to get rewards, which means you're going to have wine credits that you can use to shop for more wine at a later time. You can build your own box and mix and match any way you'd like, or you can have our winemakers select the picks for the season for you. You get access to exclusive wines, which is really cool. They're not open to everyone on the website. And I also like to just mention that Wine Club is a great gift that covers all of the holidays. So you can do like quarterly to, you know, your parents or something. I know what I'm sending my mom. She's getting some really great picks. So we do gifting and special occasions. And if someone has a special event coming up and they'd like to tie it to give back to one of these incredible organizations, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to customize an order, make sure it gives back to them as well. We do have custom etched bottles and crates. Hold on. Here's a cheers to you, just so you know, if you're asking, what does custom etched mean? We have these shimmer bottles. We can actually put logos or any kind of design for a special event that's coming up right on the bottle in etching.
Wow.
Weddings, birthdays, special occasions. Of course, I mentioned Mother's Day. I'll mention it again. Moms can't drink flowers, you guys.
And let's be honest, they had to put up with you. They need a little help, okay? Let's, you know.
Yeah.
Not all of us were angels growing up.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Moms need all the love for Mother's Day. But if you have anything coming up that you need, table wine, favors, anything like that, we do have incredible mini bottles that people really love for favors. So lots of options. And it's that simple. Like, shop the fundraising link and the purchase will donate to the cause. There is a specific link for the Veterans Ranch and a specific link for Martyred Angels. Each will go directly to them. Any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Connect with me on the virtual page. I would be happy to make recommendations based on what you typically enjoy. And last thing I want to say is, if you're passionate about these charities, their stories touched you, and you want to help them fundraise, just please reach out to us, to Zach or I. We want to make an impact for these organizations any way we can. So Absolutely. Zach, over to you.
Well, Stephanie, I want to thank you again. You're such a wonderful person. You doing this, you teaming with Community Pay It Forward is such a one, and I cannot thank you enough for all that you do. So
we're better together.
Yep, there you
Truly.
go. Make sure everybody out there, make sure that you join this Facebook group. Make sure that you friend Stephanie, and you can keep her updated. If you want a wine party, she's the girl to go to right now. She can set up a wine party for your cause. So this is what this is all about. Let's support these causes. Folks, thank you very much for joining our wine event. Stephanie, thank you. I'll let you run so you can go and do everything that you've got to do. I'm going to be joined here in just a moment by a great friend of mine, by a longtime partner, Mr. Jay Lieber. So thank you, Stephanie. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Zach, and I'll see you all on the 19th.
All
Cheers.
right, thank you. We'll be right back. Very unique show today, and I want to thank you guys. Thank everybody. I'm going to leave this background up so you guys can have the QR codes to make sure that you keep scanning. I'm going to bring in our guest right now because he is been kind enough to join us today on short notice, and he's going to go through all of his backgrounds right now, which is going to be really cool. We're looking at him in a stream. That's cool. So, but Mr. Lieber, how are you doing, my brother, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to, I never used this program before, so I'm trying to get it to display me well. I'm not in a stream. For those of you that think I'm in a stream, I am not in a stream. I am not a cat.
Yeah. StreamYard is, people have their differences, StreamYard, Zoom, whatever. StreamYard, one of the great things about this is, if you remember in our networking group the other day, we had somebody come in and photobomb us with something that was very inappropriate. If you remember that correctly, when we had an individual who had 3 different things, and one came in as white or a bunch of noise, and one was a pornographic film. If you remember that.
No, I haven't seen that, but is that a big problem on Zoom, I guess?
Yeah, it actually, Jay, that happened on your Friday event.
About I didn't see it.
5 months ago or 5 weeks ago or something.
Oh,
so,
okay, different.
But it's been a little while. Well, see, with StreamYard, as you saw yourself, you're in that little green room, and if you don't come on camera, we're not going to let you in because we don't want to see any of that, So I mean, but yeah, StreamYard it's just a different thing. We get
Zoom has a waiting room.
Yeah, but you don't know if they're on camera right away or not. So, and we get to stream.
Well, what you can do for that with Zoom. What you can do for that with Zoom is if you send somebody the ID, but you set a password, then people like that can't join the group. The only people that can join are people with the password. And if you do it that way, you don't have to admit them. They come right in.
Oh, yeah.
But that's how Zoom gets around that.
Yeah, and our other option, or the other reason why we love StreamYard is because we get to broadcast out to 8 different streaming areas. So we're going from everywhere to our Facebook pages, to LinkedIn, to Twitter, to YouTube. I mean, we're everywhere right now. That is pACT, the pACT channel. So, Mr. Lever, let's talk about you. Let's talk about totalspeed.co, because totalspeed.co, all you need to know, and you got about a dozen more that you've been coming up with because you're hard at work at doing those. So,
and everything rhymes with co.
Yeah. You are the host of our website. You've provided the hosting for our website, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But website hosting is not all you do.
Okay, now you're asking me? Yes.
Yeah.
My company, Total Speed, the website is totalspeed.co, offers a wide range of services that start with a domain name. So generally, you need to have a domain name first. You can either register it at totalspeed.co, or if you already have a domain name, that's fine. And from there, as Zach said, you can have a website, and my company does website hosting, which means that we provide the computers, the servers on which your website resides, but you make the website, or you hire someone to make your website. We don't actually design websites. And my joke on that one, Zach, you might have heard me say, is that I don't actually do anything. My job is not to do anything, but to tell you about what you can do. So to make it simpler, if you think about it, my company does email hosting, not just website hosting, but also email hosting. So if you have a domain name, thank you, and you want to have email addresses at your domain, my company, Total Speed, does that as well. And you go to the website and you create the email addresses, and now you have email addresses at your domain, just like you can have a website at your domain. But I don't read your messages and reply to your mail. You do that. You sign in and you create an address book and you reply to your messages and you send out your emails and do whatever you want to do. I provide the platform for you to do it, but you do it all. So, for example, with the websites, we have a website builder service. It's only $100 a year. Comes with everything you need to make your own website, but you make the website, and Total Speed gives you the tools, gives you the support, and does the hosting.
You really don't need to be a professional with your website builder. Your website builder is very, very easy to use. We were in the process of building a website with your website builder when we had the wonderful option to work with Mr. Z at Z World Webs and team with you to host our website. So, but you have you have a couple advantages over everyone else in this market in what you do, including, the two big name, inexpensive website builders. You are truly inexpensive, not cheap by any means, inexpensive, affordable. And you have American-based support.
Very true. And a lot of the huge companies don't do that. A lot of the big companies like your Microsofts and your Googles and your Apples outsource to India. And so the phone support, a lot of them, some of them don't even have phone support. Like, for example, Zoho does only email support. They don't even do phone support. So it depends on, that's an important thing to look at when choosing an internet services company. You want to make sure that they're there for you and that it's an enjoyable experience when you call. You don't just want to have a number to call. You also want to know that you'll learn a lot and come away benefited rather than come away annoyed. By the way, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned about the website builder and how it's easy to use, and that's very true, because over the years we've been making it easier and easier. But have you tried our website builder on your phone? Because you can actually do it. It works.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like going, no way. And yeah, when we were building it, yeah, I did. I went to the phone and I was able to design it there, which is something absolutely astonishing, because I didn't find it easy, because I'm not good with phones. I'm really not good with like trying to design with phones and trying to do different things with phones. I joke with people all the time that, working with my fingers is like working with kielbasa sausages, and it's just, there's a lot of smash and move things. So it's a little bit different, but I love the fact that you can do that.
That's the point, really. It's not so much how easy it is or how convenient it is. It's that you can do it at all. Because in the past, normally when you design a website, traditionally you want a large screen or more than one screen, and you want to be able to have as much surface area and have as many controls on the screen like that. But now it's the design is much different, and they have it so that you can work on it right on a phone.
And you guys also have email addresses that can be connected to your domain.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit more about those, please?
Well, that's probably one of the biggest services that Total Speed does, which is email addresses or domain-based email addresses. That means that these are email addresses that you have to have your own domain in order to have. So, for example, as you can see right here, my email address is j@totalspeed.co. So totalspeed.co is one of my domains. Zach has communitypayitforward.us. That's one of Zach's domains. So when you have a domain, you can have email addresses, which are usernames at your domain name. I'm probably not saying anything that people don't know, but just to give a preamble. So Total Speed allows you to create your own email addresses when you own your own domain. And you can have as many addresses as you want, and you can name them anything that you want. And you can even set up forwarding. You can create addresses that forward to other addresses. So, for example, if you have employees or partners, or if you have a board of directors, if you want, you can give them addresses at your domain. But if you want, you can also give them addresses that forward to addresses they may already have.
Yeah, I love the catch-all. I love the catch-all. I think it's
actually different. That's actually different than a catch-all. That's just straight forwarding. So, for example, I have a company that is an occupational therapy company, and they have a board of about 20 people. And so what they did was they set up 20 addresses for each of the different people at their domain that forward to whatever addresses the people already have. They have a Gmail address or Hotmail or whatever it is, their mail just goes there. So those services, forwarding services like that, we don't charge anything for. They're free. Addresses we charge for, websites we charge for, but forwarding we don't. So they have a 20-member board that all have their own email addresses that cost them nothing. That's just an example of the kind of features that you get included with the services that we offer. Now, what you talk about, the catch-all, that's a setting, which is very cool, which allows any address that you have to receive email from any address at your domain. That may sound a little confusing, but it's often done by companies that have names that might be a little hard to spell or type. So they get misspellings of it so that whichever way you type it, you get them. That's kind of an example of what a catch-all lets you do. It catches everything.
I'll tell you why it's beneficial for me. My first name is ZAK. There are so many people who take and spell my name ZAC. So yes. I'll have Zach, ZAC at communitypayitforward.us.
Or ZACK.
ZACH. Yeah, any of those.
ZACH.
It'll come to me. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful thing because, no matter if it's at communitypayitforward.us, I'm still going to get it. And that's so helpful because, there are times that people misspell or you hit that extra A or something, and all of a sudden the email doesn't work. And, you're like going, what did I do wrong? And you can't remember the email address. With the catch-all, that's one of the things that I absolutely love because it takes care of that. So,
and another thing is you can make up addresses on the fly. You can be at a party, or you can be, maybe you're at an event that you have a booth at, you're doing a display, you're a vendor, and you can make up an address with the name of that event at your domain. And when people email you, you'll get it. And not only that, you'll know how they found you because it's right in the address that they sent it to.
Yep. Very, very easy to do. Very wonderful. It actually can it can help a small business look a little bit larger. It helps them look a little more professional. I think it's a wonderful thing. So
it can also help you sort your mail, which is a thing that a lot of people have difficulty with. If you want, with being inundated with mail these days, you can have, for example, billing at your domain, or support at your domain, or info at, and then you can have each of those forward to a different mailbox so that you can sort them. It just makes administration of your email that much simpler.
Yep. Jay, you also, once again, you guys have so many different things when it comes to putting together websites and communications. I mean, I think that you guys are fantastic. You bought this company how long ago?
2008. So 14 years.
Yeah. So you've been doing it a day or two.
Well, this is the company that I bought that I promote, but I've been doing this longer than that. I started the original company, which is Creative Computer Consulting, in 1997, which is just about 25 years ago. Matter of fact, next month, the end of this month, June 1st, is our 25th anniversary.
Oh, that's amazing. And
so we're using Total Speed just because it's a shorter name than our original company's name. But we've been doing this for 25 years, and we've bought up more than just Total Speed. We actually bought up 4 other companies before that. So we're actually a conglomerate of 6 companies, all under the name Total Speed, because Total Speed is all you need.
That's right. Total Speed is all you need. We would like people to know that anytime that you make a purchase with Jay, and then 30 days, he's going to go on ahead. And if you send us proof that you purchased it through Community Pay It Forward, Jay donates to the cause of your choice in your name. Please make sure that you visit Jay. Jay, how do they get a hold of you, my friend?
Well, they can call us 303-415-1000. Very easy number. They can go to our website, totalspeed.com, which is our landing page that tells you all about us and gives you the highlights. And you can go to totalspeed.co, which is our storefront, which is where you can see all of our services, see all of our features for the services, and actually search for domains and sign up for services directly.
We are very proud at Community Pay It Forward to be associated with Jay and Total Speed. All our domains, all of our emails, all of that has come from Jay at totalspeed.co. Total Speed is all we need. It's all we use. So we're very
Zach, Total Speed and myself are honored to be members of your organization. I love what you do. I think that it's so important, more so now than ever, and I'm honored to be part of your organization, and I love it. People sign up and make sure to go through Zach's website. I'll ask you how you found me. So even if you didn't do that, I'll make sure that Zach gets the credit and that you can choose the charity of your choice to have the donation go to. But it's such a worthwhile cause, and it doesn't cost you anything. What could be better than that?
Yeah. Well, Jay, you know what, brother? You're one of my favorites. You're one of my friends. You and I have grown a great relationship over the past couple of years, and I wouldn't give it up for anything. I thank you for the short notice on joining us. I thank you for joining us here on pACT. And folks, we're at the end of our hour and a half. And I want to thank you guys very much. I would like to say, as we always do, please love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Make sure that when we all come together, no one has to go it alone. If you have clothing that don't fit, put it in your vehicle. You see somebody struggling with the cold, give it to them. Let them use it. Have extra food, put it in an old butter bowl. Heat it up, give it to somebody who's struggling with food. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you are. Cold kills. Hunger kills. Let's protect each other. Let's take care of ourselves. We can do this. All we have to do is come together. Thank you guys very much. We will see you next week. Have a great day.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home, out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.